Hey folks, Social Security. A lot of great information out there on YouTube on Social Security, how it all works. I am not an expert on it. I will add a link to an excellent video by Holy Schmidt. You need to subscribe to his channel. Very knowledgeable on the ins and outs of the ruling on Social Security, when to take it early, all the different, scenarios, that are beyond just the average person and things to consider. Excellent. Highly recommend his videos. I've been asked probably 20 times, what am I doing about Social Security? So I thought I would give my logic. Now, this applies to me. I'm 58. My wife is 56, and both of us are very healthy. We both have parents that lived long lives. There's no reason to think that, we left to our own devices won't live into our 80s. So what am I doing around Social Security, and a little bit of why? So what I tried to do, I'd love the whiteboard. I think you do too. Okay, across the top, I have different assets. Okay, for me, these are my assets. This is cash and pension. I put them in the same box. You'll see why in a second. And then bonds, stocks, and then Social Security. Those are my income streams, besides a little bit of money I make on YouTube and being a mentor and a coach. Okay, that's all peanuts compared. That's a hobby, a subject for another video. But these are different places you can put your money. And so let's talk about each one of those. Okay, first of all, cash and pension. The return on those is zero. If you have a pension, I have a small pension, it doesn't change for the next 30 years. It's the exact same dollar amount. And if I have cash, it's going to return zero. Now, I put inflation as 3%. Don't give me 100 comments around inflation's a lot higher than that. I'm just going historically. Maybe by the time I'm 62, 4 years from now, or decide to retire towards 70, things may be back to normal. So I'm just putting 3% in here. It doesn't matter what number is in there to get my point across. Okay, so let's say it's 3%. So your real return is 0 minus 3% is the negative 3%. And the volatility of that is low. It's historically, inflation's been pretty steady. So just humor me and say that's low. These are all going to be relative to each other. Let's jump over to bonds. Historically, I've been paying a lot more than this, but looking forward, 2 to 3%, 3% inflation again. So the real return is somewhere around 0% if you put your money in bonds. Not saying it's bad. You're at least keeping up with inflation in a typical year. Stocks, okay? Stocks 8 to 9%. You can get more than that. You can get less than that. But you got to get the real return by subtracting inflation off of it. I guess I should have made them all consistently 3%. So the real return on the stock market is 5 to 6%, and it's high volatility, okay? So stock or pension and cash, pretty low volatility. Bonds, low relatively, historically. We're at a strange time right now, 2022. But stocks, pretty high volatility inside of a week, month, even year. If you look at less than 7, 8, 9, 10-year periods, there's pretty high volatility here, and your real return is around 5 to 6. Now, Social Security gets a lot more complicated, and this is one where I'd ask you to go to Holy Schmidt. Jeff Schmidt's the guy's name. If you take your Social Security at 62, and I think I got these numbers. The numbers are right. I may have them backwards here a little bit. If you take Social Security 3 years early, so your full retirement age is 67, you take it 3 years early, you lose about 6.7 a year. So 6.7% is what you get by delaying it. 2 years, the last 2 years of that, there's a total of 5 years between those 67 and 62. 2 of those years, you lose 5%. 3 of those years, you lose 6.7%. You reach full retirement age. And then if you delay to 70, you make 8% a year. So I know that's a little confusing. Let's say just on average, you're somewhere, if you're delaying from 62 to 70, it's about a 7% return you're getting on your money. Okay, that's an average of all these. Actually, I did that on my calculator. It's 6.76 or something like that. So let's just say 7%. But what's important with that is that is the real return. There's zero. It's adjusted for inflation up, and there's zero volatility. Okay, so you get a 7% return for delaying Social Security. Now it's a little more complicated than that if you take it at 66 and 69, whatever you happen to take it at. But this is a good ballpark. You got an asset returning 7%. It's adjusted for inflation, zero volatility. So let's take a look at these assets. As if you're holding your deck of cards here, which is your best returning asset? Okay, real return -3, 0, 5 to 6 with high volatility, 7% fixed. For me, being healthy, expecting to live to at least 80 years old, and if I die before that, and my wife we both die before that, who cares? So looking at the assets, it's actually your best one. I really think Social Security is my best returning asset, assuming longevity, which is an assumption for some folks. But also, as I'm able to invest a little more aggressively, because I call this my backstop. All my stocks just go south. They just go terrible. And I'm out of money when I'm 70. I've maximized my Social Security benefit, and hopefully I can live off my Social Security plus the pension and cash that I have reserved. That's kind of my thinking. It's my emergency backstop. If all my stocks and bonds go to zero, I'm maximizing my return that I get in Social Security. So that's my thinking. That's what works for me. If you disagree with this, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments the age. Just put a number in there, the age that you're planning on taking Social Security, and add why. This works for me. There's no right answer to Social Security. There's not a right answer. For me, it's my best asset. It's my best asset on real return. This is Joe out.